Okay, welcome friends. Welcome to AB Astrology. It's a Black Friday weekend here in North America continent, and indeed a very big weekend for me. Today I have a very special guest. He needs no introduction. Prash Trivedi sir. Sir, welcome to AB Astrology.
Yes,
And
no, nice to
yes,
be here. No? Yeah.
yes, thank you so much, sir. I pay my gratitude for accepting my invite and sparing your precious time to all of us. So thank you, sir. And
Yes,
stage is all yours, and please enlighten us. Please.
Aman, the thing is that I think in jyotish right now, the way it is right now, needs a lot of enlightening in the first place. I think
Yes.
light needs to come on it. It
Yes.
might be this, science of light, but it needs light itself right now because there's a lot of confusion and
Yes.
there is a lot of like misinformation
Yes.
in it right now. So the thing is that when my Nakshatra book came out, you are well aware of my Nakshatra book.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, in 2003, 2004, like 2003. So at that time, nakshatras were not used usually in
Yes.
by most of the astrologers. They were just not used. So and the psychological aspect of them, like okay, like what is um, like when you have a certain nakshatra in a certain graha in certain nakshatra, a certain ascendant in certain nakshatra, and moon in certain nakshatra, it gives you a personality of a certain kind and a psychological profile. Let's call it a psychological profile. So from that book, that nakshatra book, the psychological profile would have been very clear. And after that, a lot of people started using the psychological profile,
Yes.
which came out of that naksha. So it was a
Yes.
naksha of actually the psychological profile of human beings
Yes.
on earth. That's what the nakshatara, nakshatra,
Right.
So it was actually a map
No.
to the psychological profile, you know. So from the psychological profile, then people came to the thing, okay, now you know about yourself more. Like anyone wants to know about themselves, that's what people want to do. They want to
Yes.
know about themselves.
Yes.
Okay, they came to know about themselves. Now then comes prediction. Okay, like what is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that part I did not cover in that book.
Yes.
And I was like, the thing is that even prediction part actually technically in jyotish is connected to nakshatras only.
Right.
Okay, and then sublords and sub-sublords and things like that. So
Yes.
that actual technical jyotish
Yes.
goes via the nakshatra route only. And the thing with the prediction thing is that that was a tool which, if it given in the wrong hands of wrong people, can be misused.
Yeah.
Okay, so it should not be an open thing like a book which everyone can read or something like that. I was always of the opinion that it should not be an open
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
that kind of thing. And because that kind of knowledge should only fall in the hands of beings
Yeah.
who are first psychologically ready for it,
Yeah.
and who have actually reached that level where that will be utilized in a proper way, and things like that. So it should be like, that's the whole part of Vedic thing. In the Vedic times, like Jyotish was not learned by everybody, right? It was
Right.
learned by beings who were undergoing Vedic discipline
Right.
under the gurus, which were rishis at the time,
Yes.
and they were actually undergoing all the disciplines. So it was a whole holistic
Yeah.
sort of environment in which it was learned, and so along with other sciences and other psychological development and all kinds of things. So that obviously has to happen for Jyotish to be properly learned or understood or applied. Okay.
Right.
But right now, we are in a different kind of time,
Right.
where, people are on like I'm talking to you on YouTube and stuff where, you
Right.
know, everyone around the world can just plug into a YouTube video and start learning,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Things are a
Jyotish.
bit different now.
Okay. So, and then people, I find that a lot of those people can't tell information from misinformation,
Yeah.
like real actual information from misinformation, because they are not trained for that.
Yes.
They have not done the whole Vedic training or disciplinary training where their intellect or their sense of right and wrong, the science of what is correct and what
Right.
is not developed enough. you
Right.
know so then it becomes very difficult for them to tell, and that's why a lot of things are happening right now, and a lot of confusion. is happening in the science, which you are well aware of, like everyone, and like a lot of people, for example, will come on these channels and they'll just look at the Rashi and just see some graha in the Rashi chart, right? And they'll say Saturn is in Capricorn, for example, in this house. Okay, 10th house. So now you will have a very good career. Okay, like
I am so glad that you're talking about this. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I mean, because they'll say like Saturn own sign, 10th house.
Yep.
Okay, everything good. Like Jim saying, now you can't have a bad career like now. Like Jim saying, it'll delay, but you'll get good results. Okay,
Yes.
but my point is that is not even a skeleton. Rashi chart is not even a skeleton. You cannot make any prediction.
Wow.
On the basis of Rashi chart at all.
Wow.
At all. Like I'm saying categorically, like
wow.
strict. Okay. So but people are doing that. And it sounds very simplistic, sounds very easy. Everybody can that thing. So it becomes more popular. Like
Yes.
there's one thing which is popular and another thing which is accurate. Okay. And
Exactly.
technical and so there's a difference between the two things. So now that is the popular easy notion. And then there'll be thousands of channels right now which will be spewing this kind of information to people, and that's where the jyotish turns into a farce. From a science, it turns into a joke. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so like we have to be very careful about that kind of information. And for example, if Saturn is in 10th house, it will be Aries ascendant, right? Then Saturn 10,000 Capricorn will be Aries. So 11th Lord will be in 10th too. Then they'll say wonderful, like gains, profession, everything great, like. And Saturn Dasha comes with such a person, and they might not go anywhere. No profession might happen. Nothing might happen. And then they'll go to the Jyotishi and say, like, what happened? Like, you told me this, and this is what is going on around this earth right now. Most people are having this kind of thing. And so we have to actually develop some basic sense of logic. Okay. That can't be. Saturn stays in Capricorn for 2.5 years, right?
Yes.
Right. So people all born in that 2.5 period will have Saturn in Capricorn.
Yeah.
So they won't get all good results of like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not logical or possible that all of them will have good results in politics or or any such thing, or public offices or any such thing, like which they would say, like for Saturn and Capricorn, and and it's not going to happen. Like so like that's not how Jyotish should be like used. So that's the first thing. For example, most of the astrologers right now still they've started using nakshatras, but they still don't use the bhav chart. Okay, they actually look at Rashi chart, and then they say like, okay, if a graha is there, then they think that is the house of the graha. When Rashi means Rashi, it doesn't say house. Rashi chart is only for showing which Rashi a graha is. It is not for showing which house a
Exactly.
Yeah, and house chart is a separate chart. And in house chart, the grahas may change position. It might look to you to in 10th house, but it might be 9th house or 11th house. So you don't know. Like, so I mean, even that 95% of the astrologers are not seeing. Okay, right now, that's the. So I mean, then it turns into a joke of a science as a whole, where your basics are not clear, nothing is clear, and then you are just looking at skeletons and just making predictions.
Wow.
And so this is something which has to end. Like, so people first, I want people to understand that it's a technical subject, just like engineering or any machine is or anything. So you'll have to learn it technically only, and there are technical things to it. It should not be seen as some sort of a simple, like a tarot card or something, or a numerology. When right now numerology is becoming very big, and people just say like if someone's birth date can tell everything about a person. Now, any birth date would, like, thousands of people are born, hundreds of thousands of people are born in that birth date. Do they have the same destiny? Do they have the same life? Do they have the same? No.
I simply love your blunt approach.
Yeah. I mean, do they have the same that thing? They don't. But people are there like saying by your birth date just itself you can tell everything about. I mean, but how is that possible? I mean, if you look at it in 24 hours in that particular region or all around the world, so many people are born.
Yes.
Every day in that day, and before in that day as well, before the last day that day would have come. And whatever. And and then in that particular year, wherever any birthday, there'll be so many people born. How can they have the same destiny or the same
Exactly.
life?
Exactly.
So I mean, but people just do not apply any logic to these things right now. It's become like that, we're applying logic to anything.
Yeah.
Because people are so like desperate to get some sort of positive indication
Assurance.
or assurance or some sort of positive indication that okay, anything which will give it to me,
Yeah.
so that desperation is leading to this kind of blindness, I
Blindness.
would
Yeah.
call, like, and that's, I find that I'm always against that,
Oh,
getting
yes.
into jyotish, because jyotish was a serious science. So I mean, for example, the nakshatra things, whatever I had said in my book, the psychological profile, and people have tested over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Whenever you apply it, you will get it.
Exactly.
That'll be the truth or fact of that psychological thing. Like, you can apply it anytime and find it to be factual and true. But
Exactly.
these things, like when it comes to prediction, you need to go much deeper than just the psychological profile, and all of that is not being done at all, because the basics are not clear, and neither do people want to learn that, because your shop runs even if you don't know, or like, and if it runs better actually, if you are just giving like superficial quick
Yeah.
and advice or whatever. And the thing is, when people go into jyotish and stuff, and they want to know what's going to happen, okay, like everybody wants to know what's going to happen, then they should ask themselves this question. Okay, first, okay, if I come to know, even let's say like you do the technical thing properly and you find out that this is the actual thing, and that is also very rare, but let's say you find out, okay, about yourself, okay, this is going to happen,
Right.
which is based on your past karma. Okay, now what's the point of that? Okay, you found out. Unless you can change it, there is no real point to it, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So like, you can come to know the Mahadasha is coming, and that Mahadasha is not going to be good for you, for your health, or for you anything. Now,
Right.
what you going to do? What are you going to do exactly?
Exactly.
Okay, like, what's the point of that information for you?
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be some point,
Exactly.
and that's where people are not, like, people are blindly running towards something. No, just sir, please tell me something about. Please tell me something about the future.
Yeah.
Not how it will affect me or what I'm going to do. Like, not that, because the point is, that part is called like now remedy in Jyotish. Okay.
In Jyotish, yes.
Yeah, like remedy. Okay. Now the remedial things are like a lot of things. Like they had like all kinds of things. Like from stones to little incantations, or doing some little things, putting a yellow like sort of handkerchief or a green handkerchief in your pocket, from little things to big things. There are all kinds of things. And what I would say to all of that is that obviously this multiverse is energy, okay, electromagnetics and energy. So any action you do has some effect.
Exactly.
Any action you do, so whatever little these things you do has some little level of effect. I'm not saying it doesn't have effect.
Right.
It'll have some effect because it's an action.
Right.
So it'll have some
energy.
Energy, and that's mild sort of things. But these kind of things can only take you a certain level, like in energy. For example, stone, for example, which now people give to anyone just like that. Some people are wearing 3-4 even, like stone could only be given of a graha which was 100% favorable for you, like,
Okay.
because it's an amplifier. Okay, it's going to amplify the energy. Just like, you have a sound system, you just turn up the volume. It's a volume turn up dial only. That's all it is. Now, so I mean, most grahas are not like that. Most people's charts. So whenever you put a stone, so whatever positive effects it's going to give, and the negative effects is going to increase both.
Wow. Yeah.
So there's a danger of the negative effects also increasing.
Yeah.
But none of people won't take that into consideration at all. So again, you are harming other people,
right,
by doing that kind of thing, and that's a negative karma for the astrologer.
Exactly.
Who is saying that you
yeah.
put that stone on, and so you are making their life miserable. You are making your own future miserable by getting negative karmas. So I think these kind of things should be avoided,
right,
because you don't know, then you just don't know. Okay, so do not do anything until you're 100% sure of something. So but this is what's happening all around, like, like, so we have to get to a point right now, either where people start taking responsibility, even the so-called astrologers, that they don't do any more negative karmas.
Yeah.
Because the negative karma of this kind of thing is much more.
Exactly. It's a very serious business.
It's a very serious business. So like, so there has to be a thing. And that's why, I mean, every time you have seen my online interviews before and online talks, and even in RVF when I had did those talks, I was very clear
Oh,
that
yes.
Jyotishis need to actually get to a better state of being themselves, where they have the discipline and they are following the Vedic way, and then Jyotish will come afterwards. That's my saying on this, because otherwise there'll be this chaos, confusion, misinformation, which is this whole web of
Right.
yes, Aman.
So, sir, right, just now you have beautifully mentioned that how Jyotish has become a very hot topic these days, each and everywhere on every social media.
Yes.
And that is the first thing which I really wanted to take your perspective and your take, that what are the basic fundamentals, even before we jump on the word Jyotish, what we need to know. I really wanted to take your take.
Okay, first, like when you go into Jyotish, first you have to understand that Jyotish is a Vedic science, Vedic, right? So then beings who are going into it, people who are going into it should know what Vedic is. Yes. What is a Vedic thing? What is the Vedic way? Who are the beings who invented the science? How did they live? What was their lifestyle? What were they about? Exactly. What was their mindset? Exactly. So that is the first thing which should come to them. Okay. So that's why I have a book called Peace Gita.
Yes.
Peace Gita. And I ask people, like, before you study Jyotish, read that book first.
Okay.
So you can give a link once. Okay. It's called Peace Gita. And I ask people, read that book first. Okay. Then you'll get some idea of what Vedic actually is like. Okay. Wow. What is that thing? And since it's a Vedic science, then go into it after that only. Okay. So after that book, you will come to know that there are a lot of basics as a human being you need to do, basic disciplines you need to have in order to study any Vedic science.
Any Vedic science,
Which can be Ayurveda, it can be Jyotish, which can be Vastu, which can be anything, Vedic mathematics. There can be any science, Vedic science. You need to have this discipline first. Okay. So this Peace Gita thing, that's why I had to, and I tell everyone, don't go to the book of Nakshatras or any of these things first. First, read Peace Gita. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that you get a clearer picture of what it is.
The basic fundamentals.
Yeah, because
on into the advanced level.
Yes. Before Jyotish comes Vedic word.
Yeah.
Okay. So that comes, and Jyotish is the second word. Like, so you have to get to the first root part before you go into the subsidiaries of it. So that's what my saying to people in all of this is. And the whole point, and we can come down to remedies again, because because that's where most important thing in Jyotish is, and people. So what are mantras exactly? Like people are doing mantras. Okay, like a graha shanti, they call it, like to pacify a particular graha. Certain kind of sounds are taken out from the mouth. How many times you do it, and all of that is told to people, and which day to start and everything. But how much effect do they have? And what exactly is a mantra? Like, does it have to be in Sanskrit? Can it be in any language? And all of that.
How to pronounce it. That's the biggest concern.
Like, yes, and like being centered and all of that. So all these matters I deal with in the Peace Gita first. What is a mantra exactly? Okay. So in which I explain to people that mantra can be in any language actually. It doesn't have to be in Sanskrit. Okay. So from English to Hindi to any language it can be in. Okay. So it's not necessary that all mantras have to be in Sanskrit.
So how matters.
And there's no number limit to anything.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because mantra comes from fifth house actually. Okay.
Yes.
And fifth house is your house of liking.
Yeah.
What you like.
Yes.
Okay. So what you like Parvati likes Shiv, right? So then Parvati likes Shiv, then she will say good things about Shiv, that Shiv has got this quality or that quality, and she'll say these things. Now that is mantra. She is praising Shiv. That will be mantra. So that is a mantra, like just whatever you like, and you say it from your mouth, and that's a mantra. And all mantras are in the Vedic are some praises of some divinity or some deity or some higher force.
Right.
There is no mantra except that.
Exactly.
I mean, like in actual reality, there's no such thing except that. And those mantras were made by rishis. Okay. And the being who makes a mantra, when he says that, that has much more power than a person who copies.
Wow.
Okay. So when you make your own mantra, whatever you like, on your own in your own language, that has more power for you.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, but these kind of things are not taught. Obviously, these are not known. So like whether like mantra comes under is a very strong part of the remedial system in jyotish, but even that is not understood. And that's where like beings like, for example, Hanuman, or like which people now use to control Mars and Saturn, right? Hanuman's energy. You know, like Hanuman would not need to do any grahas mantras, right?
Right. Right.
Why? Because he is praising Ram, he's bowing to Ram, and he's serving Ram. Okay. So he's doing that thing. So after that, any of those grahas can not affect him anyways.
Exactly.
So that was called tapasya, and Vedic concept of tapasya was there. So you can do certain things by which you are totally out of the game of grahas completely, where no grahas can have any kind of influence on you.
Right.
So which is obviously the highest level of remedy.
Yes.
I mean, there cannot be any bigger, better remedy than that. Like Arjun did whatever Krishna told him to do in Mahabharata.
Exactly.
So he bowed to him, and then he surrendered, and he said like, whatever you say, I'll do. And he even killed his relatives and his teachers for actually whatever Krishna told. Like, so that was a penance. That's a tapasya, you know. So after that, obviously, no other he's not gonna go and wear this ring or that ring or do this grahas mantra or that grahas. None of that he's going to do, or he needs to do. Okay, so there are things beyond these matters, and people have to understand that. So in the ancient times, the rishis and stuff, the ones who were dealing with the science, they were always into those kind of levels where grahas don't have any effect on you. So it does not matter, because grahas only create a circumstance for you, right? Based on your past karmas. Okay, so they create a circumstance. But any circumstance, in any circumstance, you can do the right action. Nobody is stopping you.
Exactly.
Grahas do not stop you from doing the right action.
Right.
They can give you an impulse, thought, create a circumstance. That's all they can do. Okay. But they can't do finally the action for you.
That's us to decide.
And you do the action. The graha is not going to do the action. Okay. So that was very clear. That's why karma was considered the main thing. Action was considered the main thing in Vedic thing. Now it has become all about destiny. Since in this modern jyotish, everything has become destiny. Everything is just destined. Whatever is destined is going to happen. Nothing else matters. Okay. Which is a complete nonsense. Because finally, if you're on this earth plane, which is totally action based, then everything is going to happen is going to depend on your action only.
It's like a karam bhumi.
Yeah, it's a karam bhumi. Yeah, so it is like totally you have to so the whole this bhagyavad, this towards the fatalistic. That's what's called fatalistic. The word in English is fatalistic. If you just rely on fate and things like that, you are fatalistic, and that's not a positive word. It's a negative word, right? Fatalism is not any positive thing, and that's what has happened. And I think that has to get out of any people who are going into jyotish at all. They have to understand that action is supreme, action is paramount. Okay, so like they have to have faith in action. Okay, and doing the correct action, and then to learn what the correct action is and all of that, and that's where they have to study. Okay, the Vedic thing. That's what my whole book piece Gita is about.
And that reminds me, sir, one of the terminology I have seen in one of your videos where you have used the mantra, again, the customized terminology, PBS.
Yes.
Serve and praise.
Praise, yes.
And it was really beautiful to read, because these are the three basic principles or the fundamentals which we should use each and every day.
Yeah, and which are in Jyotish very clearly as far as 5th, 9th house.
Exactly.
praising starts from 5th house, and bowing to higher and divine comes from 9th house. And as your body, yourself, you use for service.
Wow.
That is so that triangle is there in Jyotish. Okay, but people don't even, they understand these are Lakshmi stans, but they don't understand what that Lakshmi is actually.
Yeah, they want another Lakshmi.
Yes. So what is this Lakshmi exactly? So that is evolution. Like whenever your goal has to be always for any human being should be evolution. I mean, goal for any human being has to be evolution. If your goal is not evolution, then I don't know what you're doing. Whatever you're doing out here is not gonna give you any kind of happiness or any kind of anything.
Right.
Because this is not a plane where anyone wants to stay forever. Okay. Because out here you have pain, disease, all kinds of things. Right. So it's not a plane where people want to say I want to stay forever. There are enough problems here that no sane being would want to stay. So the only recourse in this kind of place is that you raise yourself, because you are in a down state. This is a prison plane. So you're in a down state. So you have to do the work to get out, raise yourself to a higher level, what is called heaven and swarg and different things and different,
Yes.
So your whole job is that is your job as a human being. Okay. And Jyotish was supposed to be an aid to that, which helps you understand yourself psychologically. It gives you a general parameters of your situation, and then you have to do the action regardless of that. Point is, you have to do the right action no matter. So when the dasha changes, you should not change. Your action should not change. Because even your circumstances might change. Things might change, but what your action has to be done, you do the same thing. So that was the whole thing. Like right now, people who don't know Jyotish, their dasha changes, then they change and they just flow with the thing, and their whole mentality change. They don't know why this is happening to them. Okay. Wow. Why am I feeling like this suddenly? Why my mind is going like that? But none of that matters actually. You still have to focus on your correct action, whether you know Jyotish or whether you don't.
Wow. Yeah.
So that is the main thing, and beings have to understand that. So because a lot of times people are just, if they're desperate, they have to understand that any solution which is going to happen is going to happen by their own actions.
Exactly.
No other being like a Jyotishi or anybody can solve something for you.
Yeah.
And if they are saying that, they are actually frauds. Okay, if they're saying we'll do this puja for you, we'll do this havan for you, and your problem will go away, that is just a money making scam. Okay. Like it's a way, I'm saying it very openly and clearly. Because anything which you have created by your own actions in the past can be taken away only by your own action in the present. That's a basic logical thing. How can someone else's action change your destiny or future? Like
exactly.
That's not possible. Okay. So people have to wake up out of this kind of. So the reasons even for learning Jyotish have to be proper and correct, and it has to be understood, the basics of human life and where are we. Like people don't even know the lifespans of that, how long we have to live here, like whether it's 100, it's not many years. So you can't waste time here.
Wow.
This is not a place for wasting time. So the whole thing has to be clear, and then only Jyotish becomes irrelevant for people. So right now it has become a very big hot thing, like all over the
social
place.
media.
As you know, like right now. But the people have to understand that it's just a gateway, Jyotish, for actually finding the purpose of human life, for actually living it properly, for actually doing the right actions. So it's just a gateway into the Vedic
system.
Wisdom about human life, earth, disposition, what we can do, life, death, life after death, all of those things. It's about those things. Okay. So it has to be seen as that study. It should not be just about this particular thing. Like you can't just become an astro junkie, which takes in all kind of information. Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that information will clash with each other.
Right.
Like, yeah, and then you will be completely confused. But this person is saying this, but this person is saying that. This person said that about Venus in the third house. Some other person said something else about Venus in the third house. Now you are like, you're totally confused by all this contradictory information, and
Yeah,
most of it
first,
is misinformation, not just not information. And you are, this is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. You know,
yeah,
so and since like right now obviously there is a lot of media and there's a lot of that thing, so people have a lot of options
right.
to listen to hundreds and thousands of things and get themselves more and more confused. So that what I'm saying becomes even more applicable right now than it was 15 years ago or 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So and for the new generation, the kids who are just starting off at 18, 19 right now and want to learn this and are interested in this kind of thing, that means you are interested in knowing about life. That's what it is. If you're interested in jyotish, it's basically you're interested in knowing about life. Then your focus should be there.
That should be the main focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not just like just get that thing into rules of rules of astrology.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like astrology has a framework. It doesn't have rules. It has framework, and framework you don't know.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, just like even this construct, everything has a framework. Like any machine
Yeah.
has a framework. Okay, like, and this is a machine we are in. Like, okay,
Wow.
so it has a framework. So it's a technical thing. It's like an engineering
Yeah.
situation out there. So, but obviously, most people are not technical in that way. So,
Right,
and
sir.
those kind of people should stay well away from jyotish in the first place because it's a technical science. Okay,
Exactly.
so my point is that there is a whole lot of things which have to be in place as a human being, for you to go into any science and get the truth of it, and get
Absolutely.
to the clarity
Yes.
in the subject,
Yes.
like absolute clarity in the subject, not confusion. And a lot of people who are saying all kinds of things and this will work or that thing, or if this Saturn is in 12th house, this person will this thing and this kind of expenditure will happen or that kind of thing. Or Ketu in 12th house means moksha is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
I
What's
mean,
the definition of that, sir?
yeah. I mean, 1 in every 12 person will have Ketu in 12th on average.
Right.
So 12th house. So then 1 in 12 person will getting moksha out here. Like, I mean, the ridiculousness of these things is so
It's going
bad. Like,
beyond. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just, but I mean, at least the younger generation should apply this little logic,
Yeah.
which I'm saying, and think about these things and create some sort of awareness that this is not possible. Okay, I mean, out there, like, forget about moksha, even getting to a higher state, evolving state at all is not possible for most human beings right now, the way things
Absolutely.
stand.
Absolutely.
But forget about moksha and things like that. So it and which is like getting out of cycle of birth and death, which is what should be everyone's aim, in my view. But to get to that level first, you have to go through a lot of levels before
Right.
that becomes your goal, and you have to understand something about
Right.
this plane, and you have to get some awareness or some consciousness to a certain level and degree, and and learning. And that's why I'm just helping people out now, like by giving this talk or interview to you, like the ones youngsters,
Yeah.
that they get some other perspective, because they'll hear all these other kind of things, these rules and laws about in all the other channels and different channels. They'll keep on hearing these things. Saturn in the first house means this, Saturn in the second house means that, Saturn in the third. When I say, it doesn't mean that. Saturn in first house can be 1,000 different things for 1,000 people. Okay, because it depends on a lot of other things, because
Yes.
it's in a particular degree, like it's in a particular nakshatra, it's in a particular pada of a nakshatra, it's in a particular, it's and those nakshatra lords are placed somewhere else. There are all kinds of things in that chart. Like, no two charts are same in that kind of way. The more minute a level you go into,
Yeah.
the more the differences
Yeah.
are. So it can never give the same result at all. So any person saying any of this generalized statements of any kind regarding any graha or any position or placement is always saying nonsense. You have to be
Right. Yeah.
very, very clear about it.
All
You know what I'm
that,
saying?
yeah.
And so I mean, like nakshatra level, like Rashi level, okay, you can say, okay, if something is in an Aries sign, for example, like if Venus is in Gemini or Libra, okay, or
Sure.
like it's an Aries sign, okay, so then it'll be more mental, okay, it is because air signs are more mental, okay, so you can have this kind of generalization, okay, but you can't have a prediction kind of generalization on that.
Right.
There's
For
no
that you
prediction
have
you
to,
can make
yeah.
on that. Yeah, generalization is only possible in terms of its element and that thing, and then it's a vata thing more in Ayurvedic terms. What is a kapha thing? What is a vata thing? What is a pitta thing?
Yeah.
Those kind of things you can discern, okay, but not this kind of what is going to happen,
Exactly.
okay, like that it's not going to tell you, like this kind of thing. This is just going to give again psychological profile, you know,
Right.
like Libra as a sign, what it does, okay, or Capricorn as a sign, what it does, okay,
Right.
Aquarius as an archetype, what it does, you know, so you can
Right.
understand some things about that,
Right.
you know, like Aquarius is fixed air, for example.
Yes.
So, but people don't understand what is fixed air. Like, you tell me, like, Aman, you have heard so many people in Jyotish already. You tell me about what does fixed air mean? What will fixed air mean for Aquarius?
Fixed air.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That reminds me of just like the still water we have for the Scorpio.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's stagnant. It's not
Yes.
going with the flow. Something like that.
No, no. See, again, that's the whole point. Like, see, these are the basics of Jyotish. Okay, like science,
Right.
right? First, like, so, like,
Right.
if you have Aquarius, you fixed it, then you don't understand what fixed means.
Means.
Aquarius means fixed means that Aquarius as a sign is fixed. So if it is made its mind that thing about something, or it is
Okay.
that thing in
It's
any direction,
fixed.
it set
Right.
its goal, it is fixed about it.
Fixed.
And
Right.
fixed air is actually the eye of the tornado. Like when you have a hurricane,
Hurricane going on. Yeah.
it's very fast, the winds around the side.
Right.
But if you go to the center of it, there is no movement. It's
Right.
completely still there. There is no movement in the
So
center.
that is fixed.
That is Aquarius.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody says it's a Aries sign, but
Yeah.
yes, this is a very new point.
But it's a fixed air.
Yeah.
It's a fixed air. Fixed. Okay. So even what a fixed air means, people do not know enough. Like,
Right.
so because what will be the nature of Aquarius based on the fixed and air? What is fixed air? Like movable air, you know, like Libra.
Right.
Okay. So then if it's movable and air, then it can go around.
Right.
Air moving, then it can be, it's a person who would go around the, you know, streets, move around shops, go around here and there, and, you know,
Right. Right.
like continuously be moving. But
Exactly.
Aquarius won't be moving like that.
Right.
Aquarius will be still at one place.
Right.
Like for like sadhana and stuff, you know, like how rishis will sit at one place and do the
Right.
sadhana. Then that is the nature of Aquarius. It's not like Libra, which is like more movable air.
Right.
Okay, so just even by that, you get a whole idea of
Yes.
what a sign actually is. I'm just saying, telling these very, very basics.
Basic
So
things.
that,
Yeah.
so that people understand that people don't understand things on a basic level even
Exactly.
before they're running
To the advanced
forward with
level.
all these 100,000 rules and all this kind of things.
Yeah.
You have no idea what Aquarius is actually.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you can't tell.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's why people can't even tell which ascendant a person is, was astrologist.
Right.
Because you don't know any idea of any basic nature of signs.
Yeah.
And forget about nakshatra. Now each sign has 3 nakshatras.
Yeah.
So if you don't have even the sign traits, you don't know what a sign is like. How will you tell the traits of each nakshatra?
Yeah.
And then narrow it down to one of those 3.
Yeah.
So in Aquarius, you can tell, okay, this person is Aquarius, a rising. Okay. But then which one? Are they Dhanishta? Are they Shadvishak? Are they Purva Bhadpad? Which one? Okay, for that you have to know those character traits very properly of Dhanishta, Shadvishak, and Purva Bhadpad.
Right.
Okay. So even those things are not known,
Yeah.
you know, to people.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that that's where the whole science gets skewed. You know, like what is fixed air exactly? You know, what is the nature of fixed air?
Right.
You know, so in nature, what are the examples of fixed air?
Right.
Where does fixed air happen exactly? So people don't know anything like that, you know.
Right.
So that's why like people call Libra a sign of, you know, balance, you know.
Right.
People think Libra is balance sign, but movable air is very hard to balance actually. It'll
Wow.
move here and there.
Yeah.
There's no stopping it.
Yeah.
So for that kind of person to become more out of balance is much more easier for a Libra ascendant.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that these kind of things are not taught, like, you know.
No.
But Libras, and people think, oh, this is a balanced sign. So
Yeah.
people expect a balanced personality
Right.
from a Libra rising, when opposite will be the case most of the time.
Right.
Because that will be make you most, you know,
unstable,
because movable air, nothing is more unstable than movable air.
Exactly.
In all of the zodiac.
Yeah. Yeah. So which is hard to tackle the Swati energy, I would think of.
Yeah. So that is, so these are the kind of things which are not understood from basic level. I'm just giving examples, just so that people get it. It's not my that thing to like go into all of those things. Like, I'm just giving clues,
Right.
so that people will understand those clues and can apply that. Like, okay, Aries is movable fire.
Right.
Okay. So when you have a forest fire, it moves, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So what kind of fire is that? There's a fixed fire and there's a mutable fire. Now, what is the difference between a fixed fire, mutable fire, and a movable fire?
Wow.
So Aries, Leo, and Sag. Okay.
Yes.
So all these things are going to apply to everything. So all those things have to be known to you. And again, people don't have much connection with nature.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they don't have any idea of what these things are. Exactly. And without connection with nature, you cannot have any grasp of jyotish anyways. Because jyotish is science of nature only. It's all nature, like the grahas, the tara mandal, everything is nature. Okay.
I'm so glad that you are sharing your thoughts on the mother nature, because that's what I keep bragging on all of my videos. That more you're going to connect with the mother nature, more you're going to get.
Obviously, then, because you get sense. What do you get? You get natural sense.
Right.
What do you get from nature?
Right.
Natural sense, which is called common sense now, right? The word. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Common sense. Okay. And common sense is completely missing in all of the astrology discussions of right now.
Right.
So that's why they're connecting to nature, and especially anybody wanting to be Jyotish has to connect to nature first.
Yes.
And which is the Vedic way, part of the Vedic way, that all rishis, everyone was always in nature and they were always connected to nature.
Yes.
Okay. You can't be disconnected from nature and get into this at all.
Absolutely.
And nothing good will happen for you anyways. Whether you're studying Jyotish or not, your whole body itself, you'll get all kinds of diseases and stuff, which people are getting. Hospitals are full because people are disconnected from nature. Okay.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a lot of times it's not even the grahas, it's your own actions which are causing that for you. So
right.
So I mean, like, it's good that you're telling people about connecting to nature, because and I'm going to reiterate that point.
Thank
right
you.
Now.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah.
On each and every video, I try to tell my near and dear ones that more you're going to connect with the mother nature, because each and every Aushadhi also is out there. Maybe just 50 meters, 500 meters around you, but you are going here and there to find the cure. It is all out there in the mother nature lab.
Yes, I mean, that's why, I mean, a lot of these remedies which were told to people before was actually go to this tree, worship that tree, touch that. It was actually just these people's way of making them go out and touch nature or touch that thing. Wow. Or get some connection with it. It was not like that lighting a diya under that thing is doing anything, actually.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the logic.
Yeah. The point is that you're just connecting with the elements, the fire element, the earth element, the wood element, the air element, like that. You're connecting with these things. That was the whole point, and so which you can do anyways.
Right.
You don't need a remedy or a specific that thing to do that. So which I always stress, that if beings connect to nature, then only they should will get some proper understanding of Jyotish. My own understanding from the beginning came from connection to nature first. So that has been basic foundation from day one. So for other people also, like even if you see in my channel, mostly it's me playing music and nature and all. It's mostly like that kind of things. So I am always connected in that kind of way, and that is actually the best remedy for anything as well. It's actually the best remedy, but people don't see that as a remedy right now. But it is actually the best remedy for any kind of psychological issues, mental issues, then physical issues, any kind of problems. Like people think going to jyotish will solve it, but actually going to nature, and then PBS is another form which is more advanced. But at least you can start with
going out there,
going into nature. And I mean, I discuss all these things in my Peace Gita book. So if I think people go into that, I think they'll get a good idea of.
Right. Definitely, I'm going to attach the link to it.
Yes.
Sir, in your book, I'm not a very good reader, but still I have taken my full time to go through your Nakshatra book. I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers going to agree to that. It's a outstanding book on nakshatras, and especially the one-liners, the one word you use for each and every nakshatra explains each and everything. I'm going to give you an example from your own book. For Bernie, you have used that they are extremist. I'm going to explain each and everything actually to me. And for, I would say for Vishaka, you have used obsession. It can be either good or bad. It depends upon person to person. So, sir, tell us more about nakshatras. And I would love, even though I always try to stay with basics, but here I would love to learn from you the three-murti concept of Adi Devta, Pratyadi Devta in regards to nakshatras. Because not many people talk about that. And I think you're going to do a very good justice to that subject.
Yes, I mean, I think that we can cover at some point, like that kind of devtas and stuff, deities. I have given the deities for each nakshatra anyways, and which are very clear, like Shravan for Vishnu, like in that kind of thing, which, like the listening, and
which is today as well.
Yeah, Shravan is there today, so that's why I mentioned that actually.
Okay.
That's why I took that as an example. And so it's a listening thing, and again, all nakshatras are again connected to different natural settings only. If you see in my images in my, I think they are all connected to some particular natural settings only. And I mean, and even Brahmi, you talked about extremism and that thing. Elephant is like that. Its animal is.
Right.
I mean, either it'll be completely calm,
or violent,
or it can go completely. So it has those kind of extremes in Barney. So that's what these things are. And obviously like Pratyadi Devta and that thing, that is just a terminology. That just means a primary level deity and a secondary level deity.
Okay.
And the third level deity. It's just like layers.
Right.
Like for example, Shravan, for example.
Right.
Now Vishnu is the main deity.
Ji.
Okay. But since it falls in Capricorn, so Brahma will be involved.
Yes.
Why? Because 1, 4, 7, 10, the 4 signs, movable signs, they are ruled by Brahma.
Yes. Okay.
And Capricorn is the is the boss sign of the movable signs.
Yes. Okay.
Right? 1, 4, 7, 10. So is the final boss sign of the
J.
That 4.
J.
So, and they are ruled by Brahma. So it's Brahma's seat.
Okay.
So Capricorn is Brahma's seat, right? And Shravan falls within.
Right.
So if Vishnu is on top level of it, the second level will be Brahma.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so you're understanding how these things will come into play. Like Jim saying, it's not just like that. Like Jim saying. So I'm just giving you an example.
It's a very unspoken subject, sir, and there is a lot of confusion because on the social media, some say something else, some say something else.
But I'm just giving the logic to you.
That's what I want.
Shravan, like, okay, listening ability and all of that. Why is that related to Vishnu? Is because Vishnu is mostly observing, in observer status.
Yes.
to see what's going on,
Yes.
to hear what's going on.
Yes.
Like just observer status. So that thing is the Shravan thing.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And the basis of that is the Brahma thing. It's the seed of Brahma.
Ji.
So Brahma will be below in that.
Ji.
So these, whatever deities are there,
Ji.
they have to make sense.
Yeah.
On the basis of where that nakshatra is.
Ji.
Which sign.
Ji.
So I'm giving a clue like right now, but we can discuss for other things as well. But I don't like to give the whole thing like spoon-fed everything to people. I want people to be able to understand, take the clue, and then
do your own research,
apply the things to what is what, like Bharani is Yam, right? Yeah, but Yamraj is like deals with death, right? So death is an extreme thing for human beings, right? Everybody's afraid of death because it's considered an extreme matter, right? Like, there's nothing more extreme than death for human beings, right?
Exactly.
Like other things which happen, okay, you get disease or you get this thing or you get some problems or this thing, but everything is considered less than death. Okay. So it deals with that. Okay. But it's in Aries, right? Okay. And the Venus is there. Okay.
Yeah.
The ruler is Venus. Okay.
Yes.
So the second deity, which is below Yam,
gonna be Venus.
Yeah, Venus, and it has to be related to what? Like, what can you do? Like, how can you overcome death? Overcome means that death will become a positive thing for you, not a negative thing. That's like, so that after death you will go up and higher.
Yes.
So for them, death is a good thing.
Yes.
Because when the physical body finishes, you go to a higher plane of existence. For you, death is not a problem at all. It's like, wow, like great, bring it on, like, okay. So that for that ability to go higher, and beat the death thing of that thing will be like Sanjeevani of Shukracharya.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So which is a better life?
Wow. I have heard something like this before.
So that is a better life after that. Okay, so this kind of thing has to be done. Okay, so then you get a clue as to which energies will be involved. That okay, it has to make sense. It's not just people just saying something. Like that this is that. Yeah. What's the point? Like there has to be some logical sense to it. So anytime people can apply these things, the ones they get that more common sense, clear logic going in everything, the whole thing will start to unravel, and you can find out what is nonsense.
Yeah, that's why I always also say that common sense is also one of the remedies one has to prescribe these days.
Yeah, I mean it is the remedy.
It is the remedy,
and it will only come by connecting with nature.
Yeah.
Because this connection with nature is so strong right now that beings have to connect back properly to actually go into any of these signs. You know what I'm saying? So, like I have dropped different clues right now for people.
Absolutely.
Particular talk, so that they understand the way I am coming from that direction. So, and that's how this science has to be practiced, Aman. So, and you should carry on with this message about connecting with nature, common sense, and that thing. And any people who are saying anything in the future about this, that, like this particular graha in this house will give this result. This should be always not encouraged. Okay. Okay. Because that's not going to happen. Okay. Sun in third house this, sun in fourth house that. Like none of that. You can take 100,000 charts of sun in fourth house, and you'll find different result in all of those 100,000. Because it's not gonna be the same. Sun in fourth house.
I am so happy, sir, because the very first video I did on my channel was how to connect with the mother nature, and that is the only remedy one can do. And exactly, you have vouched for the same thing today on this channel.
Yes. And like the whole thing, and after that, the previous and stuff people can learn more later. but there's a basic step. That's why I think the basic step is always connecting with nature. Grounding. In other videos, I've explained grounding, centering, all kinds of things. Where every day you have to go touch feet on the ground for 10 minutes at least, 5-10 minutes every day. And all those things I've been saying in my interviews and talks.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. So all these things and stuff are very important, and the diet and so all this overall
Daily
holistic,
habits.
a holistic thing one has to create for oneself as a whole. And then after that, you go into any subject as a whole. Then
in order to get there, the minimum eligibility criteria is first to connect with the nature.
Yeah, and you have to have qualification. I mean, right now people think qualification is required for everything but jyotish. Jyotish is the only thing which doesn't require any qualification whatsoever.
Right.
For everything, there's entrance examinations, this thing. For army thing, there's physicals, medicals. I mean, for every kind of thing, your physical, mental capacities are checked. But for jyotish, there's no check required for anything. So, so we have a situation like that.
Bang on, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, so there has to be. I mean, but that can't be. Everything requires you to be in your senses. To be able to do it. So, and I think that's a big message. What I'm saying, if people understand this much from today's talk, that'll be a big plus. And another time we'll go more into the nakshatra things next time.
Yes, sir. So thank you. I would say thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Again, for accepting my invitation. I cannot pay my humble gratitude enough to you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
And hopefully we're going to do a few more sessions, because I really wanted to learn more about Mercury from you.
Okay.
In the next session. And there are several other topics, again, on the basis of basics, foundations, which is still very missing, just like you mentioned.
Yes.
I think people are going to get a very good clue that the minimum eligibility in order to process further, first they have to go through all this.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.